So, in our previous class, we discussed about the historical background of the play, Julius Caesar. Now, we'll be talking about the characterization. See, to understand any play, you need to understand two things because as it is a play, it is meant to be performed on the stage. So, the first thing is the characterization, and the other thing, like for each and every scene, you should know where it takes place, means the venue, right? So, let's talk about the characterization first. The first and foremost character that we have is of Julius Caesar himself, who is supposed to be the Brutus is an equally important character, but yes, Julius Caesar, we have already discussed a lot about it when we did the historical background of the play. The greatest and supreme general who is made dictator of the Roman Empire for the fourth time. He bestrode the world like a colossus. He enjoys absolute power, which is symbolized by his purple robe, golden wreath, and the golden chair in which he sits. He is assassinated by a band of conspirators led by Brutus and Cassius, who believe that Caesar is becoming too ambitious and wants to be made king of Rome, which is a republic. Rome was a republic, but they believed that actually Julius Caesar demanded to be crowned. Okay, so they believed that now he is behaving like a dictator, he'll become a dictator. Thus, we see the sudden fall of a man of overwhelming greatness who did much for the good of the Roman Empire. We discussed in the previous class how people of Rome loved him because he did a lot for the people. That's why he was very much admired by them. Now, the next character is Calpurnia. Calpurnia is the wife of Julius Caesar. Okay, she is the wife of Julius Caesar who is worried about her husband's well being, and her prophetic dream foretells the assassination. You know, she sees a dream when he is going to the Senate. Before that, she sees a dream and she is feeling very uncomfortable about it because she has a kind of intuition that something wrong is going to happen to her husband. Next is Mark Antony. He is Caesar's loyal friend right till the very end of the play. Okay, the way Brutus turned against him, though Brutus was also his friend, but Mark Antony is his loyal friend who was there with him till the very end of the play. He is dismissed by the conspirators as a mere limb of Caesar, but they do not realize that Mark Antony knows, like no other man, the mobs that throng the streets of Rome. Antony is aware of the mighty engine he possesses in his oratory to sway the mob in whatever direction he pleases. After grieving over his friend's dead body, he cleverly turns the tide against the conspirators. His magnificent funeral oration. Now, please understand, magnificent funeral oration. At the time when Julius Caesar's funeral was taking place, he was given an opportunity to speak. Okay, and at that time, he delivered a speech which turned the whole gathering, which turned the people of Rome against the conspirators. Okay, his oration was, his speech was so influencing, वो इतनी impressive थी कि जो लोग थे who were there for the funeral of Caesar, they all turned against the conspirators, right? So at that time, he not only praised the dead men, but also to incite the mob to mutiny against the murderers. Murderers के खिलाफ उन्होंने विद्रोह कर दिया. Okay, Antony joins Octavius Caesar and Lepidus to form the second triumvirate, and together they lead an attack on the conspirators and defeat them at the Battle of Philippi. See, yesterday, last time when we did the historical background of the play, you know, I talked about a triumvirate. In that triumvirate is a kind of association which was there among three people. Pompey was there, Caesar was there, and there was one another friend, right? But now, after Caesar's death, Mark Antony also formed a kind of triumvirate which was working to take the revenge of Caesar's death. Okay, and he formed this triumvirate by joining Octavius Caesar and Lepidus, right? Okay, now listen, now understand who is Octavius Caesar. He is the great nephew of Julius Caesar, heir also you can say to his uncle's wealth because Caesar did not have any child of his own. Okay, he joins Mark Antony in going to battle to defeat the conspirators. He's a strong willed boy of 20 and has a character of his own. Then Marcus Brutus. Marcus Brutus is the full name. We have known him as Brutus. He is a man of high moral principles, respected, and an intellectual citizen of Rome who does incalculable harm from the best possible intentions. He is described as Caesar's angel, for both he and Caesar love each other dearly. Please understand, I explained you this thing when we did the historical background too. It's not that Brutus used to hate him or he was envious of him. Of course, he loved Caesar. They shared a very good bond with each other. However, Brutus sacrifices his friendship as he truly feels not that he loves Caesar less, but that he loves Rome more. So he joined the conspirators in assassination of Caesar just because he felt that Caesar is getting too much ambitious and which is not good for the health of the country. All right, that is why he was a loyal citizen of his country. That is why he joined those conspirators. He joins in the conspiracy to commit the awful crime to kill Caesar after justifying the deed to himself that if he could get rid of the ambitious Caesar, Rome would continue to be a democracy. He says, I slew my best lover, friend, for the good of Rome. He is an idealist who believes that other men have the same high principles as himself, and by deciding to assassinate Caesar lays the foundation for his later tragedy. His idealism leads him to make blunders in his judgment, which ultimately results in the defeat at Philippi and his ultimate suicide. Later on, you will come to know that when these conspirators, Brutus being among them, they were attacked, and there was a battle of Philippi which took place, and they were defeated by Mark Antony, that triumvirate, who were there to take revenge of Julius Caesar. At that time, he committed suicide. He is praised by Mark Antony as the noblest Roman of all the conspirators. Now, next is Portia. Portia is the dignified and beloved wife of Marcus Brutus. All right, she is the wife of Marcus Brutus. She is deeply devoted to her husband and feels distressed by her husband's anxiety. Through her, we see another aspect of Brutus, the gentle and loving husband. She is the daughter of Marcus Cato, who preferred to kill himself rather than be captured by Julius Caesar when Pompey was defeated. Portia shows the influence of her father's Stoic philosophy in her indifference to physical suffering. Then Cassius. Cassius, the entire conspiracy to kill Julius Caesar was hashed by Cassius. Cassius was the person who was the main instigator, you can say. Because of his hated and insane jealousy of him, he is the main inspirer and organizer of the plot to kill Caesar. All right, but we already know the objective. Cassius's objective was entirely different from what Brutus had. Brutus killed Caesar for the sake of country, but Cassius because he was envious of him. Right? Okay, now please understand the sequence of events. You need to understand from this play, two acts are there in the syllabus of class 9, act 1 and 2, and the remaining three acts, 3, 4, and 5 are there in syllabus of class 10. Okay, so two acts, act 1 has three scenes. The first scene is about Caesar's triumphant entry into Rome. Second scene, the feast of Lupercal. The soothsayer Cassius and Brutus discuss Caesar's rising powers. These three important things take place in scene 2. Then scene 3 is about the storm. A conspiracy is being hashed. Okay, so here you will find that Caesar, these conspirators have already made a plan to kill Caesar. Then Act 2, again, four scenes are there. In scene 1, Brutus is convinced to join the conspiracy. Scene 2, in Caesar's house, Caesar and his wife Calpurnia. Scene 3, the warning of Artemidorus. And scene 4, the anxiety of Brutus's wife, Portia. So these two scenes we have in class 9. And the rest of the scenes, 3, 4, and 5 are there in class 10. Right? So this year we have to be bothered more about these two scenes. I hope it is clear.